I'll start with the flashback arc, since the chronology makes it sound better. There was a problem. Trish was sick and she died, so they had a goal: bring her back to life. The solution was alchemy to perform human transmutation. The result is that they lost their bodies. This result creates a new problem and goal. Ed and Al want to get their bodies back. That brings us to the Leor arc, where the anime and manga actually start. The brothers have the goal I mentioned, and their intended solution is finding Leor's philosopher's stone that they heard about. The problem is that Cornello stands in their way. They solve this by beating him, but the result is that the stone is a fake, so they're back to square one. The next arc in the manga is the Coal Mine Town arc, but I will skip it because this is an episodic detour from the main plot. Ed and Al are given a mission of inspecting a place. The next arc in the manga is the train arc, which I will also skip for the same reason. Hijackers randomly attack a train that Ed happens to be on. The next arc is the Show Tucker arc, which is relevant to the overarching goal. I can see why Brotherhood cut the two previous arcs out. The goal is to get their bodies back. This time, their solution is to ask Roy to introduce them to a biological alchemist. The hope is that he can give them a way to achieve their goal. Roy introduces them to Show Tucker. They go through all of his files, but the problem is that they didn't find anything helpful. Oh yeah, also Tucker turned his wife and daughter into chimeras. Now, a new lurking problem / POV is introduced. This is the Scar arc. Scar is an antagonist with his own plotline. His goal is to kill all state alchemists. This becomes a problem for the Elrics when he shows up to kill them. Their solutions fail because they're too weak, so the military has to save them. The result of this fight is that Ed's automail gets broken. This creates the problem of the next arc. In an old video, I talked about how FMA is really good at plot connectivity, but I couldn't explain it well enough. Now that I have my problem solving cycle, a diagram used to break down any plot, I can explain it with remarkable efficiency. Next is the Resin arc. As a result of the Scar arc, Ed needs his arm fixed, the problem. So he goes to Resin to meet Winry, his mechanic, which is the solution. On the way there, a new plot cycle happens. They coincidentally see Dr. Marco, who is a medical alchemist. Edward thinks his knowledge in medical alchemy could be their solution to their overarching problem of their lost bodies. Problem is that Marco runs away, so they chase him as a solution. Marco shows them that he created an imperfect philosopher's stone. Ed thinks that getting his research will allow him to perfect the stone and solve their body problem. But there's a problem. Marco won't show him the files for some reason, but he gives them a piece of the solution. In a letter is the location where the research files are hidden. The result of this plot cycle creates a goal for the upcoming 5th laboratory arc. To finish off the Resin arc, they go to Winry to get fixed, but Winry forgets a screw. That will be relevant in the next arc. In the 5th lab arc, they go to the library Marco told them about, but the place was burned down by the villains. The solution failed. However, a potential solution arises. They are directed to Sheska, who has all the documents memorized. Solution passed. She gives them all they need, and they do the research. They pass the Philosopher's Stone problem by learning the ingredients, but the result is a moral dilemma. The key ingredient is human souls. This right here is brilliant. The characters have a goal that they want to accomplish at all costs. They are given the perfect solution in the form of a stone, but the problem is that it goes against their values. Will they sacrifice their values to get their goals, or will they sacrifice their goal to keep their values? That's great writing. As a result of this discovery, Ed does some deduction and realizes that there's a secret 5th lab. His goal is visiting it. In the lab, Ed sees the transmutation circle for Philosopher's Stone. This result will be important later. The two brothers fight the guards and win. As a result, Slasher tries to tell Ed who made the stone, but the villains interrupt. Ed's arm malfunctions due to Winry's missing screw, and it costs him. During Al's fight, Barry says some nonsense about fake memories. This creates a problem of Al doubting Ed, but this is later resolved. Meanwhile, Hughes discovers the secret about the World Transmutation Circle, but he gets killed off by the villain. Envy disguises as Ross. This result will impact the Lust arc. As a result of Hughes dying, Roy becomes suspicious of the government, which will also impact the Lust arc. Because the brothers have been on a losing streak, they decide to train with their mentor in Dublith. But Winry wants to make a stop at Rush Valley, which is why we get the Rush Valley arc. The reason for this arc existing isn't that good as the rest. While here, a pickpocket steals his watch, which is the problem. The solution is to chase the thief. The result is that they stop her. As a result of catching her, they gain a new goal, meeting the mechanic who made Panino's automail, Dominic. They go to meet him, but he doesn't take apprentices. That's the problem. Then another problem appears. Dominic's daughter is going into labor. Winry solves this by delivering the baby. As a result, Dominic decides to refer her to another great mechanic. Then the characters go to Dublith to train. During the Dublith arc, we get the flashback I mentioned before. As a result of the human transmutation they did, Izumi refuses to teach them. The result is failure. Then the Greed arc is next. Greed has a goal. He wants an immortal body, like Al's. His solution is to kidnap Al and learn his secrets. The problem of this arc is Al's kidnapping. They solve it by defeating him. At the start of the Lust arc, Hawkeye meets Barry and tells Roy. Roy has a problem. He wants to get to the bottom of who murdered Hughes. His solution is to gather his team and scheme in secret to lure out the villains. By the end of the arc, he accomplishes his goal and kills Lust. That's where I'm going to stop now. Let's review the writing. There are multiple levels of plot: overarching, story arc, 1v1, and tactical. The overarching problem-solving cycle in FMA is the brothers trying to get their lost bodies back. This spans across multiple story arcs, which is why it's overarching. The plot is written very well due to a technique I call result chaining. The results of one cycle directly lead to new problems or new solutions. Then there is also the try-fail technique, which is when a solution is attempted but it fails, then new solutions are executed until one finally passes. Let's look at how that's used in the overarching plot. In Leor, they have the problem of their lost bodies, the body problem. The solution is to get the stone in Leor. This fails because the stone is imperfect, so they try another solution, learn about biological alchemy from Tucker. This fails when he doesn't have the answers. When they see Marco, a medical alchemist, they get a new solution, learn from him. This passes when they learn about the Philosopher's Stone, but there's a dark result. The creation of the stone goes against their values. This one overarching plot is constantly progressing. So far, it covered Leor, Tucker, part of Resin, and Fifth Lab. And then outside of that, there's just general result chaining between arcs. As a result of the Tucker arc, Scar attacks the brothers in the Scar arc. As a result of getting destroyed in the Scar arc, the brothers have to get fixed in Resin. As a result of meeting Marco in Resin, they go to the Fifth Lab in that arc. As a result of constantly losing throughout the arcs, they go to Dublith to train. It's like falling dominoes. The causality is strong due to the result chaining. This is one of the most unique engineering traits of the story. I haven't seen anything quite as efficient as this in or out of the battle genre. The closest example is Death Note. In conclusion, on the overarching level, the way the results are chained together is brilliant, but on an arc level, the problem solving is weak and the results and cycles aren't chained in clever ways. I'll cover that in a sequel video. I may continue this overarching engineering into the remaining arcs of the story.